Last time, we talked about heated Senate squabbles. Now we turn to a story with far deeper consequences. The elections in BARMM, the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao, or simply BARMM. At first glance, it might feel far away if you live in Luzon, Visayas, or even outside the Philippines. But BARMM is not just a local issue. It's about peace, unity, and the strength of our whole nation. Why the elections matter. BARMM was born out of decades of armed conflict. For years, rebellion in Muslim Mindanao drained our resources, cost countless lives, and pulled focus away from building our nation. The creation of BARMM and its promised elections were the compromise, giving autonomy to heal wounds while keeping the country whole. If these elections fail, or if people lose faith in the process, the peace that has been so hard to build may unravel. That doesn't just affect Cotabato or Marawi, it risks dragging the whole Philippines back into instability. Current problems in BARMM elections. But today, the elections face a storm of problems. Delays and postponements. The first BARMM elections were supposed to happen in 2022, but were pushed to 2025, testing people's patience. Transition fatigue. Communities fear that too much delay makes BARMM look like a government of appointees, not of the people. Risk of political clans returning. Old warlords and dynasties may use the delays to regain control, threatening the reform spirit of BARMM. And now, the Comelec dilemma. To hold elections, BARMM needs district maps. Like any region, voters must know which district they belong to and how many representatives each area gets. BAAA 58, 2023. This was the first Bangsamoro Electoral Code provision that set 80 seats for the parliament and distributed them across provinces, cities, and sectors. It included 7 seats for Sulu. But in 2024, the Supreme Court ruled that Sulu had opted out of BARMM back in 2019 and therefore should not be included in the seat count. That ruling made BAA 58 partly outdated. To fix it, the Bangsamoro Parliament passed B77, August 2025. This law redrew the map, still keeping 80 seats overall, but redistributed them among the remaining provinces and cities, effectively removing Sulu's 7 seats and reshaping districts. Now comes the TRO problem. The Supreme Court has issued a TRO blocking BAA 77 on petitions claiming it was unconstitutional to change districting so close to an election. But since BAA 77 also repealed BAA 58, there is no fallback map. So Comelec is caught in a trap. Use BAA 77, risk contempt of court, fines, jail, or legal chaos. Go back to BAA 58, it no longer exists. Do nothing, election stall for 4.2 million voters. This is why the TRO is a nightmare for election prep. Without a legal map of districts, Comelec has no basis to print ballots, assign candidates, or even train poll workers. Marcos Jr.'s role in context. When we talk about presidents and national leaders shaping BARMM's future, we often think of Ramos and the peace process, Arroyo with agreements, Aquino with the Bangsamoro Basic Law, and Duterte who finally signed the Bangsamoro Organic Law. Where does Ferdinand Marcos Jr. fit in? As senator, he was tasked to review Aquino's BBL. He raised sharp constitutional questions. Can BARMM have its own police? Should funds flow automatically? Where do national powers end and regional powers begin? Marcos drafted a substitute bill, the BL Bar, which never passed. But here's the key. His constitutional guardrails carried over into the final BOL under Duterte, even if indirectly. His scrutiny helped tighten provisions on police, block grants, and supremacy of the Constitution. So while Marcos Jr. wasn't in the Senate when BOL was passed in 2018, his influence lingered. His participation was protected, guarding the unity of the Republic while allowing autonomy to grow. The peace legacy. Every president has wrestled with the moral question, from Marcos Sr.'s iron fist martial law campaigns to Ramos's peace accords, to Aquino's attempt at structural reform, to Duterte's political will that finally gave us the BOL. This peace legacy is fragile. It took blood, compromise, and decades of negotiation. And now a flawed or failed election could put that legacy at risk, the stake for Filipinos. And this is why BARMM matters to every Filipino. We are not just facing local tensions in Mindanao. We are facing external threats from China and the West Philippine Sea. We are pouring resources into modernizing our AFP to protect our sovereignty. Can we really afford another internal war? The answer is no. Peace in BARMM allows us to focus our strength outward, not inward. Conclusion. So as October 13th approaches, what happens in BARMM is not just about one region. It's about whether the Philippines chooses peace over division, stability over chaos, unity over fragmentation. Because in the end, a strong Bangsamoro means a stronger Philippine. And so we're left with a very clear picture. The BARMM elections are not just a regional matter, but a national test of whether we can uphold both democracy and the rule of law. History tells us presidents, from Marcos Sr. to Ramos to Arroyo, have always been drawn into the Mindanao conflict. And today, President Bongbong Marcos finds himself in the same position. His decision could either cement stability or trigger yet another cycle of uncertainty. The Supreme Court's TRO, the tug-of-war between BA 58 and BA 77, and the Comelec's impossible choices all show us one thing. The future of 4.2 million Bangsamoro voters hangs in the balance. What do you think? Should Comelec push through despite the legal risks, or should it pause and possibly delay the vote for peace of mind? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you found it informative, subscribe for more deep dives into Philippine politics, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our next upload. This is Zamboanga Times, and we'll see you in the next one.